Hey everyone, welcome into my kitchen. My name is Angie Norris and my Facebook group is called Angie's Adventures, and I do cooking videos in that group. So we're gonna make a cake tonight. It's called a Sicilian chocolate love cake. I have never made it, so we're gonna make it for the first time together. So let's talk about what ingredients we need. First of all, I'm gonna put on my apron. Okay, get my apron out here. All right, so there's basically three parts to this cake, or three sets of ingredients. So there's the cake part, then there is the, and I do not know how to pronounce this. I did a internet search and it says that in Italy, because this is an Italian cheese, that it's pronounced mascarpone. So there's a mascarpone and ricotta filling, and then there's a frosting. So for the cake, you're actually gonna use just a boxed cake mix. Whatever flavor chocolate you like best. I'm gonna use Devil's Food tonight, and you're gonna follow the ingredients and make the cake mix as the ingredients say. So for this Betty Crocker Devil's Food cake, it calls for 1 cup of water, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, and 3 eggs. And so I will make that according to the cake mix. And then the filling is 28 ounces of ricotta cheese. So I bought the big one, which this is 32, so we won't use all of that. And then you're gonna use 4 ounces of mascarpone cheese. And you're gonna use 3 eggs, 3 more eggs, 3/4 cup of sugar. I've already got it measured out here, and 1/8 teaspoon of kosher salt. And I have that in my salt and pepper thing here. And then the frosting is another 10 ounces of mascarpone cheese. You're gonna use a 3.9 ounce box of instant chocolate pudding mix, 1 more tablespoon of sugar, and 1 cup of wholemeal. So stick around. We're gonna start making this. What you're gonna do first is you're going to spray your, this is a flat cake. This is a sheet, not really a sheet cake, but you're gonna bake it in a 9x13 dish. Okay, you're gonna preheat your oven to the cake directions, and my cake directions say 350 for an aluminum or glass pan, which mine's glass, or 325 for a non-stick pan. So preheat your oven to whatever your cake mix says, and we're gonna mix the cake together. That's pretty simple, but stick around. Okay, I'm just following the directions. It's the cake mix. It's 3 eggs. Got my trash bowl over here. Can y'all even see? I forget that I might need to move stuff around so you can see. All right, 3 eggs. I had some white eggs and I had some brown eggs. It is 1 cup of water going in, and 1/2 cup of vegetable oil going in. Let me get my attachment. Y'all, my KitchenAid stand is old, but it still works. Kind of like me. I'm not gonna make y'all listen to this, but come back. Okay, the cake mix is finished. It says we're going to pour it into the prepared pan and then set it aside. We're not gonna bake it yet. So let me get my Pampered Chef. Let's get all the goodness off of that. All right, so I'm gonna take this. Let me move this back. And I just sprayed it with some Baker's Choy. And we're just gonna pour that into the prepared pan. Now I'm gonna have to clean this because I'm gonna use the same mixing bowl to mix the ricotta filling. So come right back. Okay, now we're gonna make the filling. So the filling calls for a 28 ounces of ricotta cheese. And as I said, this one is 32. So this is my girl math. 32 minus 28 is 4 ounces that I don't need to use. 4 ounces is a half a cup. So I figured it'd be easier to take out a half a cup than it would be for me to try to measure 28 ounces. So that was my girl math. So all of that is going in the mixer. All of that ricotta cheese. Oh, my trash right there. And then 4 ounces of the mascarpone cheese. So this is an 8-ounce container, so about half of this. All right, stay tuned while I get a knife to open it. Okay, 4 ounces is about a half a cup, or is a half a cup. So I just to make sure, I did put it in this half cup. And that was about half of the container. All right, and then next goes in the 3 eggs. 1, 2, oh, these eggs are nice and bright. 3 eggs, 3/4 cup of sugar. I had already measured that out in my Pampered Chef measuring thing, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. So we're gonna go up to the 1/8 measuring. This is kosher salt, and that's what the recipe calls for, is kosher salt. So 1/8 of a teaspoon, and it says to whisk it until smooth. So I'm gonna put on my whisking attachment instead of the mixer attachment, and I'll be right back. Okay, I just finished whisking it until smooth. So I'm going to show you the consistency of what it's supposed to look like, or at least what I think it's supposed to look like, because I've never made it. And the directions say that on the top of your chocolate cake mix, we're going to pour the filling until it completely covers the top. So hopefully you can see that. Now, I've never had mascarpone cheese, but I'm telling you, this looks amazing. I love chocolate anything. All right. I don't think you can mess this up. I just kind of took the back of the spatula to spread it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's one thing I tell young women who are starting out in a new marriage or trying to be a new cook is, I've never made this recipe, but don't be afraid if you screw it up. I mean, it's gonna bake together anyway, so I'm just kind of spreading out that on top of the cake mix. All right, the directions say to cook for approximately 40 minutes or until a skewer or a cake tester until it's done. And then we put the cocoa frosting on top. So we'll come back. I'm gonna pop it in the 350-degree oven and we're gonna cook it. I'm gonna set it for 35 and then we'll check it. Okay, I just put it in the oven, but just as a reminder, what your ingredients are for your frosting is the 3.9 ounce box of instant chocolate pudding. You're gonna use 10 more ounces of this mascarpone cheese. So it came in 8-ounce containers at the grocery store. That's the only size I could find it in. So we're gonna use all 4 of these and 6 more. And 1 cup of milk and 1 more tablespoon of sugar. And we'll mix all that together in the mixer and it'll go on top of the cake after it's done. So come back and we'll finish this up. All right, y'all. This actually has been cooking or baking for almost an hour. So I set it at 35. It was nowhere near done. Did it another 5, then another 5, then another. So it's been right at 1 hour, but you have to bake it until a cake tester inserted comes out clean and the chocolate layer has risen to the top. And so this is what mine looks like. The instructions say to let it cool completely. So I'm gonna take it out and let it cool, and then we're gonna make the frosting. So stick around. Okay, everybody, welcome back. We're gonna get started making the frosting. It is 10 ounces of the mascarpone. So this was half, so this is 4 ounces. So we're gonna put all of that in there. I don't know that you guys can see, so just give me 1 second and I will move the camera. Let me drop the camera a little bit. Maybe you can see a little better. Okay, so that was 4 ounces and another half is another 4 ounces, so that's 8. And then with that 4 ounces left, I'm gonna use about half of that. And that would be 10 ounces. And hopefully some, I know y'all hate that noise, of my Italian friends on here, because this southern Harnett County, North Carolina girl is certainly not Italian, but maybe you can tell me if I have pronounced it correctly. Mascarpone. Okay, to that, we're adding the box of instant Jell-O pudding, chocolate pudding. Let me find some scissors. Junk drawer. There's some trash. Putting the whole box in. 1 cup of whole milk. Needs to make sure it's whole milk. And I believe it was 1 tablespoon. Yep, 1 tablespoon of sugar. One tablespoon of sugar. All right, I'm not gonna let you listen to the whir, but I'll be right back. Okay, I have mixed it until it's smooth. And this is the color. It's very smooth and creamy looking. Let's get as much as I can off. Okay. Get this off. This was the cake. For the most part, it's cool. It's still a little warm on the bottom, but hey, we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot. So it says with an offset spatula to frost the cake. So let's just get it on there to start with. And I'm gonna make a cup of coffee even though it is 10 o'clock at night. My husband said he's gonna have a piece with a glass of milk. That's his drink of choice. Mine, even at 10 o'clock at night, is a cup of coffee. It won't keep me up. I drink coffee any time of the day. I took that after my mama, and my mama took that after her daddy. You can always see us, see them, see me with a cup of coffee. All right, for the most part, I've got it all out. So I'm gonna take this offset spatula and I'm gonna just smooth it out over the top. Oops, got it on my finger there. This is a very creamy frosting. And you know, this is not gonna be a pretty cake like, you know, that you would give to someone for their birthday. This is a Sicilian love cake, made with love. So if my husband likes it, this is gonna be his birthday cake a week or so early. His birthday is the 19th, so. All right. A cake decorator, I will never be. I'll never work in a cake shop. Maybe cooking them, but not decorating them. That's how it looks. We're gonna cut into it and I'll let you know how it tastes. Okay, last part of the video. That's what it looked like sliced. So that filling is down at the bottom, it looks like now. So let's taste it. Never had this kind of cake before, so let's see if it's any good. Oh, wow. That is delicious. That and a cup of coffee. Y'all have a good night. I'll post the recipe in the comments.